Hello and welcome to another photography tutorial. Today I want to talk with you about perspective distortion or keystoning, which happens if you don't have your camera leveled and is especially visible when shooting with a wide-angle lens. If you regularly watch my vlogs, you know that especially when photographing architecture, cities and also forests, so scenes where you have many straight elements, I make sure to avoid this keystoning effect by leveling my camera. I find it looks distracting to have tilting lines on objects in a photo, of which I know that in reality they should be straight. But as always, there are exceptions where this effect can also be used creatively. And before I continue, I should also mention that while I don't like this keystoning effect in most scenes, it's totally fine if you don't agree and find you like this dynamic perspective. After all, photography is a creative field and there's no right and wrong. But if you are like me and would rather avoid such perspective distortions, then this tutorial might be interesting for you. Obviously, for photos where the straight elements, so the reference elements the eye uses to tell if a scene is distorted or not, make up most of the frame, it's best to avoid keystoning by leveling the camera and, if necessary, by using tilt-shift lenses. I have a few videos about this topic which I recorded while visiting Hong Kong, and I will link those below. I also go through some of my post-processing there. If there's a little bit distortion, it's usually possible to correct it by doing global perspective corrections in Lightroom, Capture One, Photoshop or any other photo editing software. If the distortion is too severe, then the necessary corrections could affect the image quality too much and distort the individual pixels in a way that sharpness would be lost. Now, for photos of wide landscapes, it's a bit different. Here the distortions can be used to your advantage. Pointing the camera downwards can create very dynamic foregrounds and also stretch elements in the background, like mountains for example. As long as there are none of the reference elements in the frame, this usually looks great. But as soon as you have some kind of building or larger trees somewhere in the photo, this can become a problem. And I now show you how I solve some of those situations during post-processing without the need to correct the whole image. Here's a photo I took a few years ago in northern Spain. It shows the little island of Gaz de Lugaxte, or however it's called, so surely I butchered the name. And this nice winding pathway which goes up to this little chapel which is behind me. You have those rocks here, mountains in the background, so an awesome scene. And as you can see, I had to point my camera downwards a bit to get in the complete perspective, and also I have a little bit of distortion, or not just a little bit. If you look at this cliff face here to the side, you see it's leaning to the right side quite a bit, and also here the mountains are distorted, and this way it looks much more winding because of the perspective distortion. All of this is no problem, I think, and it looks quite nice in this scene because you have all those diagonals, and I wouldn't correct, or I wouldn't want to correct those rocks here which go a little to the side, or here the foreground. I like this winding pathway and also the distortions I have here. But there is a problem, and as you can see here down here, I had my girlfriend standing, and now this is already corrected and she's still leaning a little bit to the right, but not very much. So I think as it is, it looks quite okay. And also here in the background, if you imagine this photo printed large, you see some buildings which are also straight, so corrected. In the original frame which I took, it looked a bit different, and I'm gonna show you this one. So this is the raw photo, and you see how here my girlfriend is leaning to the side so much she would fall over if she would stand like this. And also if you go to the background here, you see that those buildings, those really look awful leaning to the side that much. And yeah, if you imagine this on a little phone screen for Instagram, you don't see the buildings leaning to the side, but you certainly would see my girlfriend leaning to the side. And yeah, this doesn't look good. Now, if I wanted to go in and correct the whole scene, I'd have to duplicate this, and I quickly show you the problem here. So if I do a global adjustment, so pulling this out, also the other side, you see how much I have to pull out until I get everything straightened. So it's so much that the pixels would be destroyed. So I have so much stretching here in the foreground that I lose a little bit of the sharpness. And not only sharpness, I also completely lose this rock face here on the side. It doesn't look so imposing anymore. Also in the background, the mountains now look very flat. So what I was saying, that you can use this distortion to have elements in the frame in the background look a little higher. This is all gone now. So this is not the right way to do it, and I don't have to. What I do with such scenes, normally I just correct the reference elements. So what I was talking about, those elements which tell the viewer that something's wrong. And usually if a person is standing like this looks awkward, I would correct just my girlfriend here. So I don't correct my girlfriend, so I would just correct the pose here, make it straight. And also the background, I just correct those buildings. Let's just go in and duplicate this layer again. So I always work on duplicates, because then I can also use some masking afterwards. And here I have to be a little bit careful because of the shadow. So I can do a smaller selection, maybe something like this. So it's always a little bit trial and error. So I don't make it too big. So I go very close, but I'll also need the clone stamp afterwards, that's for sure. Now I press Ctrl T, and by holding down Ctrl, I can now straighten this. And also Ctrl on this, I can pull this down a little bit and pull this up a little bit. So I press Enter, and currently this doesn't look very good, as you can see. I'll now have to do a little bit of cloning and masking. So I put a black mask here, and with a white brush and like 100% white, I just paint in what I need and go very closely here. So let's get in here. Let's go around here, down this side, and here. So now I fill this up, and the next part, what I can also do, I can now move this a little bit. So it's overlaying the original position. And also try to align it in a way that the cloning will be easier. So maybe just like this, and see the before and after. And again, with the black brush, I can try to clean this up a bit. Going in very closely around this side, maybe here. And here I have to fill this up. So now I have to do a little bit of cloning. So taking the clone stamp tool, 100%, a fairly hard brush or hard clone tool, and I just fill this up a bit. So just sampling a part by holding down Alt. So sampling different parts and painting it in. And you see, less than 5 minutes, and I corrected this. And now, if I look at the photo, although all the rest is distorted, it doesn't look so awkward anymore, because the reference element, the person standing there, doesn't lean to the side anymore. So because of this, this looks okay. Now, if I want to print this large, I certainly have to correct the background. If I would only post this to Instagram, I wouldn't bother, because in a small frame you don't see it. But here it's the same principle. I'll just duplicate the layer again, Ctrl-Shift-Alt-E, so get a merged copy, and then I select here around the buildings. And once I have this, Ctrl-T again, Control-click. If I hold Shift, it will only move to the side. If I don't hold Shift, it will also go up. So it helps to hold Control and Shift. And then I can just straighten this up on this side. Now I go just to the edge, again Control Shift, and straighten those buildings. I press enter, and if I want to be very precise, I can pull in a guide here from the side. So you just have to press Ctrl R to bring up the rulers, then you can click, hold down and pull in some of those guides just to see if the buildings are really straight. But I usually don't bother that much, only for bigger elements. So once this is done, same procedure as last time, black mask, and now I just paint in with a white brush and 100% the area around the buildings. And here for the background, it's much easier to get this right because those trees in the background, there's not too much detail where I have to worry about artifacts, which I need to clone out later. And yeah, those two little corrections really are enough to get a convincing result for the complete image. So I don't have to correct the whole scene, just important to correct the reference elements. And let's again look at the other image, the final image. I think this now looks good, and also it looks good especially because of the distortions I have in the foreground and also to the side a bit. It all adds to the visual flow in my opinion. I hope you liked this little tutorial. If so, make sure to like and also subscribe for more tutorials to come.